Outrageous Chapter 70. Some people looked all serious on the outside, but they were actually exceptional when it came to angering people. Looking at the redundant selfie, Jin Manwen could feel her blood pressure rising. Sangwon Si, I did not think that you looked so righteous but actually were so possessive. That's your friend, not your girlfriend. Even if you do not date, what right do you have to stop your friend from dating? Jin Manwen complained internally, throwing down her phone as she went to bathe. If she continued looking at it, she was afraid her soul would explode from anger. On Sangwon Si's side, she was calmly watching the video. A simple couple selfie, bestowing the most enjoyment upon a love rival. Her mood was good, so she felt happy even while watching the video. Meng Lianyu had personally explained many viewpoints from the video to her before. Face-to-face, one-to-one, more complete and more in-depth than the video. But she did not mind watching a video that someone else had cut, because Liu Jiwei was accompanying her. Liu Jiwei's gaze landed on the screen as she was hugged. That clearly was her favorite idol, but she couldn't focus at this moment. She was still thinking about the feeling that had popped out at that moment, but she didn't dare to think too much about it. What if it really was an illusion? What if it was just her feelings playing tricks on her, making her think Sangwon Si liked her too? She didn't dare to ask if it was true or not. She was suddenly afraid that they wouldn't be able to even be just friends. She was retreating. Her optimism suddenly disappeared as she forcibly pulled her thoughts back and continued watching the video silently, not daring to think about it. Overthinking was the cause of unhappiness. If you thought less about it, you'd be happier. When it came around to the time to sleep, they went to different rooms. Sangwon Si did not request to share a room with Liu Jiwei this time. She would be a bit more restrained on a variety show. Besides, she had things to do, and she was afraid she would affect Liu Jiwei's rest. They said good night to each other, then went to their own rooms. The assistant director couldn't help but scratch his head. Why were they sleeping in different rooms? Do you two still remember that your Wei Shibulet and Wang you two are being too unreasonable? Liu Jiwei had no idea what the program crew were thinking. She turned off the lights and lay down, starting to think again. Then she opened the gallery on her phone, looking at the selfie Sangwon Si had taken. They appeared so close in the photo, but they were sleeping in separate rooms in reality. She turned to look at the door. She was hoping for Sangwon Si to appear, just like how Sangwon Si would lie beside her in her house, hugging her waist and saying she was afraid Liu Jiwei would have a nightmare, but Sangwon Si clearly didn't have that intention today. The door stayed unmoving for a long time, not even the slightest sound coming from it. Liu Jiwei sighed. Sigh. What sort of concern that exceeded the limits of normal friends? It clearly was her own wishful thinking. Sleep, sleep. She still had to do the production crew's tasks tomorrow. Thinking about it, she turned over, then quickly got up and turned off the cameras and audio recording equipment in the room. As someone who was on a variety show that lasted for the whole day for the first time, she wasn't used to being continually filmed by cameras all the time. Dangerous, she had almost forgotten. Sangwon Si was more composed. The light in her room was still on, she was sitting on her bed and looking at her phone, having turned off everything she needed to. She was waiting for Ying Xize's reply. After 7 minutes, the chat between her and Ying Xize were immediately flooded with expression packs. There were all sorts, covering all situations. There was even one that said remove your May qualifications. Sangwon Si. That expression was recalled the next second. Ying Xize pressed too quickly and sent the wrong one, sorry. Ying Xize, are these enough Ying Xize? I have more if not. Sang Wansi scrolled up looking at the messages. There were some that she had seen Liu Jiwei using before. How could this do? How could she get Liu Jiwei to save them if she had already used them before? Sang Wansi, keep sending if you have more. Sang Wansi, I want stuff that Jiwei hasn't used before. Ying Xize, he sighed as he held his phone, his face stern. Ying Xize, teacher sang, you can directly tell me if I've done anything wrong. What did she mean, stuff that Jiwei hadn't used before? How could he remember that? Wasn't she making things difficult for him? Sang Wansi, what have you done wrong? Ying Xize. Alright, it looks like they're serious. Teacher Sang really wanted to add to her own expression pack collection. But why did she suddenly want to do that, and at this time too? Could not it wait till tomorrow? Did something urgent happen that could only be solved by expression packs? Could it be? Ying Xize thought about it, suddenly enlightened. Ying Xize, did you lose an expression pack battle with someone? Ying Xize, so you are looking for more resources now? Sang Wansi frowned. What rubbish was he spouting? Sang Wansi, there's no expression pack battle. Sang Wansi, I just want to save some expression packs in case Jiwei gets deceived away by someone else's expression packs. It was Ying Xize's turn to be lost. Who could be deceived away by expression packs? Could it be? The other person was who Liu Jiwei liked. He remembered that Liu Jiwei was filming a variety with Sang Wansi now. Could that show's guests really have the person Liu Jiwei liked? Thinking of Liu Shijiao's instructions, Ying Xize immediately started gossiping. Ying Xize, who is it? Ying Xize, is it the person my sister likes? Seeing that, Sang Wansi's eyebrows knitted together as she asked, Jiwei likes someone. After that, her heart started to feel nervous. She did not know if she was anticipating or rejecting Ying Xize's answer. If yes, then who would it have? Nothing to her if no. She rather it be no. At least this way, she had a chance to become the person in Liu Jiwei's heart. Soon, Ying Xize came back with an answer. There was only one word clearly showing on the screen, yes. Sang Wansi's heart lurched. Liu Jiwei had someone she liked. She lifted her head to look at the door, her gaze wanting to go through this obstacle to see what Liu Jiwei was thinking. Who is the person you like? Liu Shijiao had instructed that he could not say anything to people who could not keep secrets. Ying Xize believed Sang Wansi wasn't someone like that, so he answered decisively. Besides, Sang Wansi and Liu Jiwei were so close, maybe she would know who Liu Jiwei liked. Who is it? He suddenly saw Sang Wansi's question. He paused for a moment, then answered, you do not know either. I thought you would know. Not only did she not know who it was, she only just knew that Liu Jiwei had someone she liked. Liu Jiwei was actually willing to tell Ying Xize but not willing to tell her. She suddenly felt an unprecedented disappointed. Sang Wansi, she told it to you? Ying Xize, no, her sister told me. Ying Xize, her sister even told me not to go around spreading it. Sang Wansi, oh, it was Liu Shijiao who said it, then that was fine. Looks like the two of them were about the same level. Sang Wansi, you did not go around saying it, did you? Ying Xize, of course. Ying Xize, I only told you. Sang Wansi, well done. Ying Xize. What was with this sudden praise? Ying Xize, teacher Sang, your relationship with sister Jiwei is better, if you know who she likes. Ying Xize, remember to tell me secretly. Liu Shijiao wanted to know, he wanted to know too. Humans were gossipy by nature, he couldn't be blamed. He just wanted to know who his brother-in-law would be. Sang Won-si. Sang Won-si, we'll see. She put down her phone and turned off the light, going to sleep sullenly. Wait till she finds out, then they will see. In the early morning, the sunlight was warm and the surroundings were quiet. Liu Jiwei woke up with the first ray of sunlight. Just in time to receive the mission card from the production crew. She stretched and opened the door, receiving the card as she blurrily said, "Morning." The crew member smiled, "Morning. Today's mission and rules are all written on the card. If you don't understand anything, you can call us and ask." Liu Jiwei rubbed her eyes, trying to open them to read what was on the card. "Thanks, you've worked hard." "No problem." The person left. Liu Jiwei shut the door, looking at the card as she shuffled to the sofa in her slippers. Today's theme, lunch and dinner. The rules were simple, they had to go out to buy groceries to cook. They couldn't eat out or order takeaway. They could ask their neighbors for help, but they couldn't make other people do all the work while they stayed idle. Cooking, that was so simple. She put down the card and went to wash up. When she came out, Sang Won-si was looking at the card while still in her pajamas. "That is it?" Sang Won-si asked. That is all for today," Liu Jiwei answered. Sang Won-si nodded, then prepared to go wash up. Liu Jiwei said, "You go brush your teeth first, I will go buy breakfast." Sang Won-si called out, "Wait for me, I will go with you so I can familiarize myself with the surroundings." Thinking of the mission, Liu Jiwei didn't refuse. The three groups all received the same missions every day. Jin Manwen's group also received the mission to cook their own meals. The two of them stared at the card, a sense of "my life is over" enveloped them. Help, they both didn't know how to cook. "Wait," Jin Manwen looked at the rules, reading them out. "You can ask your neighbors for help." Her eyes lit up suddenly, "We can ask other guests to teach us how to cook." At this point, she already had an idea, "Let us go look for Liu Jiwei, she is good at cooking." Jin Manwen's friend was called Jo Su. She was someone who was not in the industry and she did not pay attention to celebrities' Weibo's usually, preferring to read instead. Jo Su asked, "How do you know?" Jin Manwen answered, "Sang Won-si posted about her cooking before on her Weibo." Jo Su scratched her head, even more confused. Why would Sang Won-si post on her Weibo about Liu Jiwei's cooking? Should not she post it herself? Jin Manwen was speechless. "If you still remember the name of the variety show we are on." They were very good friends, so what if they frequently went to each other's house to have meals? "Silly child, how was your comprehension so bad?" Being reminded by Jin Manwen, Jo Su finally understood. "Oh, that is it, but would she be willing to help us cooking? Isn't easy, and she still has to help two rookies." "Ah, that's really busy." Jin Manwen looked at her, then rubbed her messy bedhead. "What are you talking about? Our teacher Liu is kind and beautiful. Besides, the mission says we can ask for help. There is no end to learning, we can just ask if we don't know it. Go brush your teeth, let us go out for breakfast and ask our neighbors later." Jo Su could only get up and go wash up. Jin Manwen sat cross-legged on the sofa, planning her moves out in her heart. If Jiwei agreed, then I would have more opportunities to spend time with her, hee. The production crew rushed and finally managed to edit the interview with Liu Jiwei and Sang Won-si. The teaser was about 3 minutes, with the usual light-hearted style to fascinate viewers. After director Mu finished watching it, he was very satisfied. "We will post it like this, probably after 10 am, Director Mu said. After 2 days, we can edit the other 2 groups' interviews and publish it after. He got someone to put breakfast on the table. Everybody's worked hard, come on, let us have some breakfast. Okay, Director. Got it. Thanks Director Mu. Liu Jiwei and Sang Wansi each held onto a cup of soybean milk, drinking slowly as they walked around town. Looking for the supermarket, looking for the vegetable market, looking for whatever they could find. Sang Wansi was still thinking about the message Ying Xize sent to her last night. Liu Jiwei likes someone. Who could that be? She sipped on her soybean milk calmly, turning her head slightly to look at Liu Jiwei. A sudden impulse made her want to ask Liu Jiwei and get an answer. Liu Jiwei did not look at her. She looked at the architecture in front of her, then at the architecture behind her, working hard to engrave the route into her mind. She was so serious nobody would dare to disturb her. Sang Wansi decided not to ask about it at this time, and it was not good to ask about this sort of thing in front of the cameras too. It would be awkward whether Liu Jiwei answered or not. She would not be an impolite person. Like Jin Man Wen. Okay, I pretty much have it remembered. She suddenly heard Liu Jiwei call out. Liu Jiwei smiled, I have remembered the route to the vegetable market. I can come over and buy fresh vegetables for the next few days to cook for you. Her personality and age would always make her unconsciously take the initiative to take care of others. But she actually did not dislike this feeling, rather, she liked taking care of people. She liked taking care of Sang Wansi every time she saw Sang Wansi eating the food she cooked, praising that it's delicious and being nourished by her food. She would feel achieved and happy. Who did not like seeing the person they liked healthy and well? Then you will have to remember to call me along. Sang Wansi naturally held her hand. I will come with you and buy vegetables together, and help you carry it back. She did not want Liu Jiwei to be too tired. And she did not want someone to get close to her Jiwei when she wasn't around. She had to be on her guard. Our teacher Sang is so good. So, what do you want for lunch today? Hold on, let me see the time, it's past 9 am, We can buy the groceries and go back, then rest for a bit and prepare lunch, it is about right. Sang Wansi looked at her. The sunlight peeking down from between the leaves shone past the corner of Liu Jiwei's eyes, even her pupils had become shimmering. She was very pretty. Sang Wansi asked her to stay still, then snapped a photo. Is it nice? Liu Jiwei's eyes lit up. Wow, it's nice, send it to me. Sang Wansi smiled and sent it over, then quietly saved this girlfriend angle photo of Liu Jiwei. Let us go take a look, I cannot think of what I want to eat at the moment. She still wanted to slowly walk around with Liu Jiwei. Because of work, they spent more time apart than together. Being able to skive off once in a while, they definitely had to treasure it. Liu Jiwei did not have any objections. After they bought the groceries and got home, it was still early, so Liu Jiwei practiced the violin for a while. After a while, she took a break and started using her phone. She immediately saw the teaser for her group. At me and my friend, since we've been discovered, then we will not keep everyone in the dark. Dang 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 dang, the baby interview, fresh out of the oven. We are releasing it for everybody to have some new content, please continue to watch us for more at me and my friend video. Liu Jiwei. Was the teaser always released so quickly? She did not seem to remember that was the case. She looked at the comments. There was quite a lot. The CP fans were even more. God, they're so pampering, so sweet, I am fainting from sweetness. 1 bar, you are all babies, you are all mommy's babies, I can kiss you both. At tired, but I can still love, what sort of arrogance is this if you have the ability, kiss her, that's arrogance. At woman, it's me, Ba Hongjian, a mature official account needs to learn how to release the actual show. What you guys just started filming then live stream it for me. I want to see pretty ladies dating, I want to see pretty ladies together. At liked for how many years at falling for you every day, the person who invites guests for you have never beaten my friend right. Liu Jiwei scrolled then finally went back up to watch the video again. The interview was edited in a humorous way, with a hint of romance. Strange, she clearly remembered their interview the other day was very normal, it was entirely how they normally interacted. Why did the video feel somewhat different? It looked like they didn't do anything, but the relationship between them was so intimate that a third person couldn't be accepted. Liu Jiwei propped up her chin, looking at Sang Wansi in the video. She had been answering the question at that time so she did not notice, Sang Wansi had quietly watched her for so long. Those gentle eyes, looking only at her. How could she not be moved? Sang Wansi, you really knew how to flirt with someone. Unknowingly too. Seeing it, she suddenly felt a bit shy. Wow, we're really so shippable. With you, it's so good to be a CP with Wansi. Sang Wansi saw her looking at her phone once she walked out of the room. That reaction looked a bit embarrassed. She was a bit confused, walking over and asking, what are you watching? The teaser. Liu Jiwei handed the phone to her naturally. The program released our teaser. Sang Wansi, so quickly. Liu Jiwei nodded. He indeed was worthy of being a man who misleadingly drew 3 different routes on the map, nobody could figure him out. Sang Wansi opened the video. Liu Jiwei supported her face as she looked up, anticipating. She did not know what reaction Sang Wansi would have after watching it. The teaser was quickly over. Sang Wansi put down the phone. The two of them looked at each other. The next second, Sang Wansi lifted a hand and placed it on Liu Jiwei's head, gently rubbing. Baby Liu. Then she returned the phone to her and left to get some water. Liu Jiwei blinked. This wasn't a rejection, right? Yay. Sang Wansi thought about the expression packs, pouring the water into a cup as she spoke. I spoke to Ying Xize yesterday. Liu Jiwei got to her feet and looked at her. Why? Sang Wansi, I asked him for expression packs. Liu Jiwei. Sang Wansi took a sip and calmly said, to give to you. Liu Jiwei. She could not wrap her head around it. Why to give to me? Sang Wansi answered honestly, I saw you were saving someone else's expression packs yesterday. Ying Xize gave me a lot, I will give them all to you. If it is not enough, I will ask him for more. The someone else clearly was Jin Manwen. She wouldn't openly call out Jin Manwen's name on camera. Meng Lianyu had taught her before that she had to be careful with her words in front of a camera. Liu Jiwei paused, then suddenly laughed. She was indeed the female lead who didn't follow the script. She looked for the second male lead to ask for expression packs. But Ying Xize's expression packs, most of them probably came from Liu Shijiao, so she probably would have them too. Because she had already stolen many expression packs from Liu Shijiao. But it was still cute. Thinking that she lacked expression packs, so she went to ask for it from others and said that she would give them all to her. This Sang Wansi was really cute. And it was enough for her to confirm one thing. Sang Wansi did care about her. But whether or not it was more than normal friendship, she did not know. The production crew who was remotely viewing the camera feeds naturally also saw this. They all looked at each other, suddenly feeling Sang Wanci was cute. Before we filmed this show, I've never heard anybody say Sang Wanci was so cute. Asking for expression packs, ah. How cute. Honestly, this pair makes me suspicious that we are actually a romance variety show. Didn't Director Mew invite them for the CP fans? Do more stuff, let us have a bit of sugar for the CP fans. This isn't a bit, one of the workers pointed at the screen. This is a ton. On the screen, Liu Jiwei had put on an apron and was getting ready to cook. Sang Wanci hugged her from behind, putting her chin on Liu Jiwei's shoulder. The two of them maintained that position as they discussed what they would make today. Production crew. This was a bloody couple, was not it? Liu Jiwei and Sang Wanci had decided. Today's dishes would be on the sweeter side, with 2 side dishes. Sang Wanci let go of Liu Jiwei. As she was about to put on an apron and help, the doorbell rang. She walked to the door and opened it. Jin Manwen, and her friend Josu. Sang Wanci's expression was calm. Is something the matter? Yes. Jin Manwen answered quickly. She was really afraid Sang Wanci would close the door on her. We cannot cook, the mission said we can look for our neighbors for help. So we wanted to ask Jiwei for help, is that okay? Liu Jiwei had already walked to the door, politely asking, what can I do? I probably cannot cook for you too. Jin Manwen waved her hands, familiarly acting miserable. Of course it is not asking for you to help cook for us, but we would like to ask you to teach us how to cook, is that okay? Liu Jiwei understood, her expression cheerful, sure. We were just about to prepare lunch, you two can watch from the side, or follow along with us. Doing it yourself will help you learn faster. Okay, thank you Jiwei. Sang Wanci did not say anything. She was not cruel enough to watch others starve. Hopefully Jin Manwen and Josu really didn't know how to cook. Hopefully Jin Manwen would stop coveting her Jiwei. But Jin Manwen clearly did not think so, and she was even a bit arrogant. She walked past Sang Wanci, their shoulders brushing as she lifted her chin slightly and arrogantly looked at her. Sang Wanci. She indeed had come with a plan. She really wanted to kick Jin Manwen out immediately. Josu did not have any messy thoughts. She thought about how good-looking Sang Wanci was, then she obediently followed Liu Jiwei to the kitchen, looking like an eager student. What emotions or feelings, they all did not matter to her, she just wanted to be a person eating happily. Liu Jiwei asked Josu if they had bought any groceries. Josu replied, we did, we just bought a bit of everything. After asking how much they had bought, she stayed silent for a moment then said, it is okay, there is dinner too. This much is enough, you guys will not have to go out to buy anything for dinner. Hearing that, Josu knew Jin Manwen had bought too much, smiling awkwardly. Jin Manwen happily ran into the kitchen, standing in front of Liu Jiwei with her eyes shining. Jiwei, I am ready, what do we do now? Liu Jiwei moved back slightly. Seeing it, Josu pulled Jin Manwen back a little as well. Sang Wanci was taking a call outside, so she did not join them in the kitchen immediately. Liu Jiwei did not say anything, asking if they wanted to bring the ingredients over and cook lunch before taking it away. She was worried something might happen if she let the two beginners go back and cook by themselves. She would just supervise them cooking, safety was paramount. The two disciples immediately ran back to bring all their ingredients over. Under Liu Jiwei's instructions, they started working. But even while working, Jin Manwen's enthusiasm couldn't be curbed. She kept chatting with Liu Jiwei. Asking about everything under the sun, Being extremely concerned about her and trying her best to leave a good impression, she looked like an obedient younger sister. As long as Sang Wansi was not around, she had no obstacles between her and Liu Jiwei. Liu Jiwei really thought she was just trying to be friends, and since the two of them still had to work together on the next show, so her attitude was cordial and she answered all the questions. Polite as if she was talking to a guest. Jin Manwen didn't feel dismayed. So be it if she was polite, it was a good sign that Liu Jiwei answered all her questions. As long as they spent more time together, they could become friends too, and they could possibly become girlfriends in the future. Besides, they had to work together for the next show. Would she be scared there was not time to interact with each other? Thinking about it, her mood suddenly became much better. In the camera's blind spot, she looked at Liu Jiwei's back, her eyes filled with conviction. The next second, she walked over and stood next to Liu Jiwei, chatting with her. Soon, Sang Wansi finished her call and came back. She immediately saw Jin Manwen trying to get close to her Jiwei. The smile on her face was so radiant that the corners of her lips were almost at her ears. Sang Wansi. In that moment, she really wanted to throw away her upbringing and throw Jin Manwen out. Jiwei! She called out. Liu Jiwei turned back and asked curiously, "You're back, where did you go?" Sang Wansi turned on the tap and washed her hands. "I had a call to take." "What do you need me to do?" "Liu Jiwei, help me cut up these onions." Sang Wansi, "Okay." After living in Liu Jiwei's house for so many days, she had pretty much learned how to chop up vegetables, with onions posing no challenge for her. Jin Manwen continued handling the meat with Liu Jiwei. Thinking about Sang Wansi being chased off to the side to cut up onions, but she was handling the meat with Liu Jiwei, Jin Manwen suddenly felt like she had won the battle. If she had a tail, it would be happily lifted towards the sky now. But at this moment, Liu Jiwei suddenly called out, "Wait!" She said that to Sang Wansi. "Put an apron on." Then Jin Manwen watched as Liu Jiwei took the other apron, walking over to personally help Sang Wansi wear it. Liu Jiwei stood behind Sang Wansi, helping her tie the strings of the apron. The action was intimate and well rehearsed, as if she had already done it 1,000 times before. "Okay, done. Be careful when you're cutting, do not cut your hand." Sang Wansi turned, glancing lazily at Jin Manwen before looking at Liu Jiwei. She replied gently, "You be careful too, don't cut your finger again." Liu Jiwei smiled, "Don't worry, I will not, that was because I was too distracted and didn't notice." Sang Wansi pinched her cheek, then turned to cut the onions. It was as if she did not see Jin Manwen at all. Although she had only been calmly looked at, but Jin Manwen still felt challenged. She suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of danger. Sang Wansi, she would not happen to also like Liu Jiwei, right? Chapter 71. The process of cooking lunch went exactly as Jin Manwen expected. Without Sang Wansi, there was no obstacle to her and Liu Jiwei getting along. With Sang Wansi, there were difficulties at every turn, with each one more difficult than flying to the sky. And she had no way to deal with Sang Wansi either. If only Liu Jiwei did not treat Sang Wansi as well, she wouldn't be so helpless. Lu Jiwei didn't know Jin Manwen's intentions. In her heart, it had already become an ingrained habit to treat Sang Wanci well and care for her, nobody could stop it. She did not expect that this habit would unknowingly help Sang Wanci complete the other half of her defense. So the whole time they were preparing lunch, Sang Wanci was very relaxed. She didn't need to spend too much effort to stop Lu Jiwei and Jin Manwen from being together. All she had to do was call out softly Jiwei, and Lu Jiwei would immediately come to her side. In this battle, Jin Manwen lost badly. She was about to explode. Sang Wanci, this woman, she likes Lu Jiwei, right? This question had been pestering Jin Manwen the whole day. At night when she was putting on a sheet mask, she was still thinking about it. But she was still just suspicious, she did not dare to confirm it. Until she watched the teaser that the official Me and My Friend Weibo posted. In the teaser, Sang Wanci would always watch Lu Jiwei very seriously when she was speaking. Her brows were gentle and she had a slight smile on her face, clearly appearing like someone who felt happy while looking at the person in front of her. This might look like someone who was a good friend to other people. To her, that wasn't the case. As someone who liked Lu Jiwei and had been openly battled with by Sang Wanci, she had confirmed it in an instant. Sang Wanci liked Lu Jiwei. It was undeniable. And the two of them were even business CPS. It was perfectly acceptable for Sang Wanci to show such a gentle expression to Lu Jiwei, and the netizens were all fooled. She wasn't so easy to fool. But she felt depressed. Sang Wanci was too close to Lu Jiwei. And Lu Jiwei's care and concern for Sang Wanci was visible for all to see, nobody on the side could compare. So from the start, she did not even start from the same starting point as Sang Wanci. But she was not willing to give up. Liking someone was never a rational, reasonable thing. She had no way of controlling it. Besides, Lu Jiwei and Sang Wanci weren't even together, why should she control it? What if it was just a one-sided thing by Sang Wanci? Then how could she give up on this opportunity so easily? Who did not want to take the radiant sun for themselves? Me and my friend had planned to shoot for a week. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had elapsed. During these 3 days, Jin Manwen constantly found excuses to try to get closer to Lu Jiwei. She had almost changed the friendship variety show to a show about becoming friends. Lu Jiwei treated her politely. Sang Wanci, on the other hand, was a bit irritated. Who could tolerate a love rival flaunting in front of themselves daily? So she decided to talk to Lu Jiwei about this. At night, it was about time to sleep. Lu Jiwei was about to go to her room to sleep after washing up. She walked in and was about to close the door. Then, she saw Sang Wanci walk out of the room opposite while hugging a pillow. She blinked, forgetting to move. Sang Wanci had already opened the door and climbed into her bed. She was still confused when Sang Wanci finished putting her pillow down and pulled the blanket over herself, looking at her. The expression on her face was saying, "What are you doing? Come sleep." Lu Jiwei. Today, she was planning to sleep with me. Sang Wanci looked at her calmly, then seeing her confusion, she asked, "Jiwei, are you chasing me away? How could that be?" Lu Jiwei closed the door, showing her respect. "Lie properly, I am going to turn off the light." Sang Wanci looked at the bed's headboard and suddenly realized the lights could be controlled from there too, so she stopped Lu Jiwei. "Wait." Lu Jiwei asked, "What is it?" Sang Wanci said, "Get on the bed, I'll turn it off. It would not be good if you stubbed your toe on the bed frame if it's too dark." Lu Jiwei immediately felt touched. Our teacher Sang is so good and considerate. Sang Wansi smiled slightly. Lu Jiwei immediately burrowed into the blanket happily. Sang Wansi waited for her to lie down, then turned around and was about to switch off the light. Suddenly, the hem of her shirt was pulled. Lu Jiwei said, "Wait, I forgot something." Sang Wansi furrowed her brows in confusion, then watched as Lu Jiwei quickly got up and turned off the cameras and audio recording equipment, complaining, "I almost forgot again." She didn't want stuff like sleeping to be recorded as well. If she kicked off the blanket or talked in her sleep and showed it to the whole country, then she might as well pack up and prepare to move into space. Everything was done and the end of the day merged into night. The yellow light from the street lamps shone into the room, half obscured by the curtains, illuminating a corner of the white wall warmly. Summer nights were long and quiet. Lu Jiwei lay on her back, looking at the ceiling in the dim light. Sleepiness came exceedingly slow today. Then, a sound came from beside her. After that, a gentle Jiwei sounded out. She replied. "Do you like Jin Manwen? Why are you suddenly asking this?" "Just asking. I'm not familiar with Miss Jin, how can there be like or dislike?" "Then did you notice it?" "Notice what?" Sang Wansi turned to look at her, observing her face under the dim light. "Notice that she has other intentions towards you." Sang Wansi was very straightforward. But Lu Jiwei's thinking couldn't catch up. What intentions? Sang Wansi. Lu Jiwei embarrassedly scratched her face, "Because I do not think there's anything to desire from me. A small actress who had just started having some success. An ordinary and poor person. What was there for a stranger to want?" Sang Wansi. "Lu Jiwei, you're really not smart. No wonder you cannot figure out that I like you. Isn't Miss Jin purely wanting to be friends with me?" Lu Jiwei asked, sounding like she was asking for advice. She had been a transparent entity for so long, she had no experience making friends. The deception was even stronger now that she had the male protagonist halo. Sang Wansi wasn't the same. She was the female protagonist, and Xiao Chu said she was popular and had made many friends. So she definitely knew which ones were genuine friends and which ones weren't. She is not, Sang Wansi did not lie to her. She likes you. Lu Jiwei paused. Sang Wansi's calm voice landed in her ear, "Not the type of like between friends." Lu Jiwei's expression became even more wooden. No wonder she felt like some of Jin Manwen's actions were a bit overboard, making her feel a bit repulsed. So Jin Manwen liked her. Fuck. Someone liked her. This wouldn't be because of the male protagonist halo too. Lu Jiwei was so shocked, she asked, "How did you know?" "I guessed it." Sang Wansi said calmly. "A few days ago when we were cooking together, she kept looking for ways to get close to you. And whenever you treated her nicely, she would be very happy. The way she looks at you is different too. At least, she will not look at Josol like that. And she has been continually looking for you these few days. Jiwei, won't go to someone's house for nothing." Lu Jiwei suddenly was enlightened. Instinctively, she believed in Sang Wansi's words. Seeing her like this, Sang Wansi knew she completely didn't notice it. Suddenly, she felt relieved. At least it was because Lu Jiwei didn't realize that Sang Wansi liked her, not because she realized it and pretended not to know. "Didn't the latter mean she was being rejected?" Sang Wansi asked, "Do you like her?" Lu Jiwei quickly shook her head and denied it. "I do not like her, I do not like her." Do not misunderstand, I definitely don't have that kind of thoughts towards her. Even if she did not take into account the fact that her heart was completely dominated by Sang Won-si. The system would not allow her, as the male protagonist, to like someone else aside from the female protagonist. If she dared to do it, she would probably have been electrocuted numb. Sigh, the pain fearing her had no way to rebel. Luckily the person she liked was Sang Won-si, the beautiful, mesmerizing Sang Won-si. What are you going to do? Sang Won-si asked. She was looking forward to Liu Jiwei's answer. Looking forward to Liu Jiwei rejecting Jin Manwen herself. Liu Jiwei sank into silence, feeling a bit troubled. It was still their own conjecture that Jin Manwen liked her. If they guessed wrong and she confronted Jin Manwen and asked about it, then didn't it seem like she was foolish and dumb and narcissistic? Then when they were working together on the next show, would not it be incredibly awkward whenever they saw each other? We'll see, she sighed. I'm happy to make friends, but forget it if it's to be girlfriends. I will keep a friendly distance from her tomorrow onwards. If she really wants to go overboard, I will speak to her about it. And stop it in time. Seeing that Liu Jiwei had her own thoughts about it, Sang Won-si was relieved. Her own planning was not as good as a single word of rejection from Liu Jiwei. Untying the knot had to be done by the person who tied the knot. Let us sleep, Jiwei. Good night. Good night. The room descended into silence again. Liu Jiwei was still looking at the ceiling and waiting to become sleepy. Actually, she had another question. She really wanted to turn her head and ask the person next to her, then can you realize that I treat you differently from how I treat other people? She thought about it. And gave up. She definitely could not realize it, because she did not have many friends for Sang Won-si to compare to. Sigh, it was so hard for a little transparent entity to want to date. It was Friday, the third last day of filming for me and my friend. Today, the three groups all received a mission that was different from the past: live streaming. The live stream timing was from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., an entire hour. The extra request was that each guest had to showcase their own talent during the live stream. After the live stream, it was the guests' own free time and the program crew wouldn't interfere. For the 8 p.m. live stream, the program had already started marketing on Weibo. This live stream was also to create momentum for the official launch of Me and My Friend, helping to raise the expectations of the audience for the start of the show. Scrolling through the comments section, Liu Jiwei and Sang Won-si could deeply feel the fans' enthusiasm. At I'm innocent, what? A live stream, I can do it. At a fist as big as a head, wait for me to get money, I will buy 3 phones to watch the live stream at the same time. But I have no money now. Woo, I like all 3 groups, which live stream should I watch? Crying. At to eat or not to eat, that is the question. Tonight, I will also perform an individual talent for everybody, shipping. Wei Shi Buletin Wang Go. At Pay Me Back, Director Mu is the best. Liu Jiwei and Sang Won-si looked at each other, then put their phones down and sank into deep thought. They had not thought of what talent to showcase. The production crew hadn't mentioned this before, so nobody had prepared anything. But looking at what Director Mu intended, it wasn't as if he was forcing them to be super professional about it. As long as the audience was happy, it was enough. But Sang Won-si had never done unprofessional things before. She had always been an upright, elegant beauty in front of everybody. Liu Jiwei did not care too much. She had already decided. I will play the violin. Sang Won-si looked at her slowly. Even Lao Wu couldn't help but say, "Whoa, you're really daring." Her practice had gone slowly these few days, with not much obvious progress. Now, even sawing wood would sound better than her playing the violin. With just this, she dared to showcase this as a talent. Liu Jiwei, Liu Jiwei, how much more bravery are you hiding from us? Liu Jiwei scratched her head in embarrassment, then said, Aya, Director Mu said it does not need to be too professional, I don't have any other talent to showcase. I can't possibly knit a sweater on stream. Why not? I think it's possible. Sang Wanxi and Lao Wu spoke at the same time. They clearly thought that knitting a sweater was 100 times better than her playing the violin. The former had a 100% survival rate for the audience, but it was hard to say for the latter. Liu Jiwei. How hurtful, guys. I like playing the violin lately. She complained, then gave in. All right, I will knit a sweater. Sang Wanxi clearly heard her complaint, and then looked at her quietly. Liu Jiwei continued, oh right, I can give you the violin and you can showcase it as your talent. Sang Wanxi's eyelashes fluttered as she suddenly said, no need, you can play the violin. Liu Jiwei lifted her head in confusion. Sang Wanxi reached out a hand and rubbed her head, speaking in a doting tone, if Jiwei likes it, just do it. It's okay, it's most important for you to be happy. You have to practice the violin more to be familiar with it, let us do that. Lao Wu. Sang Wanxi, with how much you're spoiling her, it will be really hard if you do not marry her. Receiving encouragement, Liu Jiwei's eyes immediately lit up, even as her lips turned downwards. It's better if I knit, otherwise what will you do? She watched as Sang Wanxi folded her arms and looked at the big, eye-catching object in the living room. She said calmly, there's still that piano. Liu Jiwei froze. These few days, Liu Jiwei had never seen her touch the piano once. She would not even look at the piano for long. As if it was just an unimportant accessory that was unworthy of her taking an extra glance. Liu Jiwei could actually understand her emotions. Because of the piano, she had quarreled with her father, left her home and hadn't met with her father again until now, with their relationship still unhappy and strained. Under these circumstances, it was natural for her to despise the piano. But Liu Jiwei didn't expect that Sang Wanxi would be the one to mention it. Wanxi. It was a soft call, but Sang Wanxi understood her feelings and worry. Sang Wanxi looked down and smiled, it's okay, Jiwei, I don't hate the piano that much. How could a kid that grew up with a piano hate something that was like a friend? She lifted her head, looking towards that white piano again. For the first time, she honestly said how she felt about it. I actually really like the piano. At least, I really liked it in the past. When her mother was still around. When her father had not started forcing her to be a pianist. I just do not like it as much now. She turned to look at Liu Jiwei, smiling. Liu Jiwei suddenly felt pained, grasping her hand lightly, you do not have to force yourself. Sang Wanxi held her hand and smiled, I'm not forcing myself. Liu Jiwei half believed it, really? Sang Wanxi nodded, really? Besides, you playing the violin and me playing the piano. We would match better that way. Sang Wanxi thought about it in her heart. With that, Liu Jiwei did not say anything else, getting up to wash some fruit for Sang Wanxi to comfort her. 8 p.m. rolled around quickly. The netizens had already been waiting in the live stream room. Once 8 p.m. hit, the live stream began. Liu Jiwei and Sang Wanxi started off by greeting the viewers. The two of them sat side by side, dressed up and looking good. The bullet comments started pouring in. Sang Wanxi, I'm persuading you to not use that face to kill me anymore, or you'll have to take responsibility. Lu is so cute when she smiles. Save me, is this a newlywed couple meeting the audience? I'm starting to look forward to their talent showcase. There was an hour for the live stream, so the two of them didn't rush to do the talent showcase. They chatted with the bullet commenters for half an hour. As long as someone asked a question, they would answer it and issue enough sugar for the CP fans. The live stream's atmosphere was rising quickly. The bullet comments asked them to call each other baby like they did in the interview. They obliged with calm expressions. At this moment, a bullet comment said they wanted to hear Sangwon Ci call sister Lu Jiwei. Lu Jiwei. Good fellow, your comment is trying to kill me. Sangwon Ci raised an eyebrow, looking at Lu Jiwei with a slight smile. Lu Jiwei accidentally made eye contact with her, blinking. The next second, she heard Sangwon Ci gently, softly call, Jija. She immediately felt embarrassed, burying her face into a cushion. How could Sangwon Ci flirt with her in front of so many people? Then, feeling that her face was too red, she quickly lifted her head and pleaded her innocence. Look at this kid, she's doing it on purpose, who can stand it? But the comments had already exploded the moment Sangwon Ci called Jija. It sounds so good, baby sang, make a solo audio clip. Woo, mommy they're so sweet, please get married quickly. Wei Shibuletan Wan is real. Give me an opportunity to not be able to take it. After half an hour, it slowly came to the talent showcase. The netizens were beyond excited. Then, they saw Lu Jiwei take out yarn and knitting needles. Okay, now I'm going to showcase my talent for everyone, knitting. The screen was suddenly filled with question marks. Sangwon Ci sat by the side, smiling and keeping silent. Lu Jiwei looked at the camera, saying seriously, do not be like this, I'm doing this for your ears. I was planning to play the violin, but after I asked the production crew, they convinced me not to. They said I couldn't ignore the survival of the audience, so I changed it to knitting. Hearing her say that, the comments suddenly started rebelling. Hearing you say that, now I'm more interested. What? There's such a thing? I'm tired of living, let me hear it. Tell your production crew to mind their own business, I want to die today. Lu Jiwei was tickled pink. She knew there was no lack of rebellious sand sculpture fans on the internet. So she pulled out her violin that she had prepared earlier, and stood up. In that case, I will satisfy everyone. But I haven't been learning it for long, so I will just casually play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Sangwon Ci considerately helped her to adjust the phone, ensuring it captured her entire body. Lu Jiwei got into position, putting the bow onto the strings. She sucked in a breath, her right arm starting to move. The workers behind the monitors in the room covered their faces. They wanted to laugh, but they didn't dare laugh too loudly. They had no idea to describe how this violin amateur, Lu Jiwei, played. It was complicated, but also strange. She tried hard to play a tune, with each note clear but with a lot of effort. Trying hard to keep in tune but going out of tune inadvertently, going back and forth. Sawing wood was smoother than this. The comments were numb. The stars have all died. It's casual indeed. It is not too bad, you can consider going to compose music for a horror movie. I think horror movies are good, what do you think, baby? Other people want our money to let us listen to them play the violin, you want our lives to let us listen to you playing the violin. My earphones are bleeding. But because Lu Jiwei's violin playing was too demonic, it attracted many sand sculpture fans to tune in. They wanted to know how demonic it could sound, they wanted to hear the demonic sound filling the ears. In the end, they were taught a lesson by Liu Jiwei, including the director for Liu Jiwei's next show Lu Zhao. He had nothing to do today, and hearing others say that Liu Jiwei was playing the violin, he tuned in. He had never thought it would be so earth-shattering. He fell silent. Jiwei ah, you need to practice harder. With this level of skill, I really don't dare to let you play the instrument. He was about to exit the stream when he saw Liu Jiwei stop. Liu Jiwei couldn't continue playing, she was laughing too hard. Alright, I will not kill you guys. Now, our teacher Sang will wash your ears for you. She took the phone and followed Sang Wansi, becoming Sang Wansi's videographer. Sang Wansi sat in front of the piano. Her in the camera, her black hair was smooth and her eyes were gentle, she placed her 10, slender fingers on the white keys. She looked as beautiful as a painting. Odd, I feel like she knows how to play the moment she sits there. Screenshot screenshot screenshot. I want to request a song. Let me request a song. Lu Zhao was also attracted by her demeanor, putting his hand down. Obeying the requests of the audience, Sang Wansi played whatever they wanted to hear. Her 10 fingers smoothly glided across the keys without the slightest bit of hesitation, as if she was born with the knowledge of how to play the piano, knowing how to bring out the most beautiful sound of the instrument. At this moment, it was like she was one with the piano. This was the first time Liu Jiwei had seen her play the piano. Calm, elegant, confident. She was always able to surprise others. Maybe this was the reason her father had insisted on her becoming a pianist. Because he believed she could do it. But so what if she did not like it? Why force her? People did not have to definitely do something as long as they were suited to it. Liu Jiwei felt like it was good now. Sang Wansi could act in the shows she liked, and play the piano that she used to like when she was on break. Nobody was forcing her, there was no unhappiness. My God, she is learned this professionally, right? How can she be so good? This is a live stream, it is really not a music club. Fuck, this is incredible, it's so hard not to be moved. Fan +1. Let me pick the next song. Director Lu Zhao's eyes shone brightly. He realized Sang Wansi was even better suited to the second female lead's role. If Sang Wansi acted in it, with this charisma, she could totally make the show a double female lead with Liu Jiwei. Then he could definitely promote the second female lead to the main female lead and make it a double female lead show. But he could not invite her anymore. Lu Zhao was filled with regret. Damn it, why didn't she play the piano earlier? In the affluent district of Zhang City, Zhou Lingling threw her phone aside, unhappiness showing on her face. So what if she knew how to play the piano? Was it difficult? She thought it was very easy. The netizens were really kicking up a big fuss out of nothing. If she wanted to learn, she definitely could play it too, and she would be better than Sang Wansi. As for this Liu Jiwei, she only tuned into this live stream because she wanted to see how Liu Jiwei's practice was coming along. Who knew it was so bad? That would not do. How could she meddle with her like that? Zhou Lingling smiled, then searched for Lu Zhao's WeChat contact. Zhou Lingling, Director Lu, have you watched Liu Jiwei's live stream? Zhou Lingling, her violin skills seem to be very bad, you'll have to watch over her more. Zhou Lingling, as someone from the same company, I hope more than anybody else that she can meet your requirements and play the violin well. She smiled and put away her phone after having finished pretending to show her concern for Liu Jiwei. When Liu Jiwei was finished practicing her violin, she would make Liu Jiwei's joy turn to emptiness.